kids that have a relationship with you, you'll spend time with them or whatever. And then the rest of us that maybe you don't have a great relationship with.
I've left the past behind. I don't think about those individuals anymore. They are no longer in my life. All that's important now is the life I desired, the family I believed in. Perhaps I wanted it too much. I attempted to keep this family united, believing in a cohesion that maybe was never real to begin with. The Brown family soap opera just keeps going around and round in season 19 of Sister Wives. The fractures have deepened, and what was originally a tale about an unusual plural family has become a show of betrayal, changed allegiances, and heartbreak. The newest development in this drama is downright explosive. A months in the life-building fight between Cody Brown and his son Payton finally came to a head, and the repercussions left the family and viewers alike stunned. It's been a painful, gradual build. Cody Brown, who was once the self-proclaimed king of this large family, now finds himself growing more and more alone, not only from high-sex wives, but from his children as well. The strain had been palpable for months, and it all boiled down to last week, when Payton, Cody's son from his union with Christine, reached his breaking point. The two clashed in a tense emotional argument that stripped away years of pent-up tension. It wasn't merely another disagreement. It was the moment that viewers have been anticipating, a moment that uncovered how deep the fissures are within this family. Payton's annoyance has been apparent for some time. He's vocally questioned how his father has treated his mom and how the polygamous lifestyle has been destructive to their relationships. Here in this recent showdown, he finally voiced what many of the Brown children must have had thoughts about. It was gritty, candid, and something impossible to disregard. And observing Cody's response, or lack of, was significant. Instead of expressing regret, Cody lapsed into defensiveness, guarding his ego rather than fixing the damage. While this father-son explosion took center stage, a different change was occurring in the shadows. Janelle Brown, usually the voice of reason for the family, made her own moves. Torn between allegiance to her children and the ruins of her romance with Cody, Janelle's choices this season foreshadow something more. Her quiet maneuvers have left viewers speculating if this is the start of a long overdue shift in the family's hierarchy. For years, viewers have watched as Cody's relationships with his older children, especially those from Christine, grew strained. The emotional distance has been as painful to watch as it's been predictable. Payton's decision to confront his father wasn't just personal, it was symbolic. It spoke to years of disappointment, of broken promises, and of children left to navigate the fallout of their parents' choices. And it wasn't just Payton. Other members of the family, particularly Janelle's kids, have started to discover their voices too. Gradually, but surely, the family's younger generation isn't going to remain quiet anymore. And it's altering the dynamic in a way even Cody can't even manage. In the midst of all this uproar, something has become really clear. People who used to quietly bear this family are done waiting for everything to improve. This isn't the first time. We've seen fractures within the Browns, but something about this season feels different. The old roles are breaking down, and those who were once sidelined are stepping into the spotlight. Christine and Janelle's quiet strength, their commitment to their children, and their refusal to keep enabling toxic patterns are resonating with fans in ways Cody and Robyn never have. Now that the dust has settled from Payton and Janelle's confrontation and strategic actions, viewers are left wondering the big question. Can this family be salvaged? Is there hope for reconciliation? Or have the wounds become too deep? And if there is no going back, what is next for those who've been quietly shouldering the burden of this fractured family? I'd love to hear your opinions on this. Do you believe Cody can fix these relationships? Or is this the start of the end of his grip on the family? Leave a comment. Let's discuss. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and stay tuned, because the next installment of this saga is bound to be even more explosive than the previous one. In one of the season's most memorable moments, Payton Brown finally stood up to his father Cody in a raw and emotional confrontation, face-to-face sitting together. Payton unloaded his emotions and told truths that had obviously been bottled up for far too long. The air was thick with tension as years of anger and unresolved resentment came spewing forth. Fans had waited for this moment, and it didn't let them down. Payton did. Not mince words, he shared with Cody just exactly what he thought about his actions, particularly how they had impacted Christine and the rest of the clan. It wasn't merely a matter of some poor choices, it was a matter of a string of emotional neglect, manipulation, and utter disregard for the emotional well-being of his children. Seeing Payton talk so candidly was heartbreaking. and immensely gratifying to fans who have watched the harm Cody's behavior has instigated. What made this confrontation even more intense was how unprepared Cody appeared to be. For a man so accustomed to managing the family narrative, Cody found himself quickly put on the defensive. His efforts to rationalize his behavior to excuse his emotional absence fell flat. Payton wasn't going to let him off this time. He pushed back on every excuse, confronting the years of lost moments, broken trust, and silence. And just when you thought the scene couldn't get any more dramatic, there was Janelle Brown standing in the background. Cody's second wife silently watched the drama unfold. The family's resident voice of reason, Janelle, has seen firsthand the widening cracks between Cody and his children, particularly the distance that's developed with Christine's kids, while she's always had a level of commitment. To Cody, it was obvious at that point that she'd had a change of heart. And this is where it gets more interesting, because what Janelle did next caught everyone off guard, rather than rushing in to mediate to defend Cody or diffuse the situation like she might have done before Janelle remained silent. That silence was deafening. It was the strongest indication yet that even she might be losing confidence in the man who once positioned himself as the rock of their family. This moment wasn't simply a father and son coming to blows. It was a public reckoning for a family constructed on messy promises and tenuous loyalty. The fight stripped away the last veil of pretense, exposing relationships torn beyond easy mending. Now the question is, where does this family go from here? Can Cody fix what he's broken, or is it far too late? And will Janelle finally decide to walk away for good? Leave your opinions in the comments. Do you think there is any hope of redemption for Cody and his kids? And what do you think Janelle's role is going to be as this drama continues to play out? Smash that like button if you're as hooked on this family saga as the rest of us. And don't forget to subscribe, because let me tell you, the next installment is going to be even uglier. As the fiery argument between Cody and Payton took place, all eyes moved into Janelle Brown in hushed silence. Her expression said more than words ever could. A combination of shock, devastation, and something more profound realization. For years, Janelle had walked alongside Cody, fighting to maintain the polygamous family arrangement intact, even as cracks were beginning to form. But in that instant, as Payton's raw and unvarnished words pierced years of dysfunction, it was like a switch had been flipped within her. You could watch.
There's this part of me that has wondered, if Cody's not in the picture for her.
It happened in real time. The shock on Janelle's face wasn't about the confrontation itself. It was about all that it represented. The faith Cody once had lost with his children, the harm that had been done to family ties, and their irrefutable reality that what they'd created together was now incomplete. At home, viewers felt it too, feeling that it was the start of a long overdue coming to terms not only for Cody, but for all those around him. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Although Janelle did not interrupt the brawl or come running to defend Cody like she might have, before she, being quiet, made her own kind of statement. By standing back, her face clouded over with hurt and clarity, she sent a strong message. It wasn't only Payton who was finished. Janelle was stepping back from the mayhem herself. Is this the last straw for Janelle? Is she tired of standing up for a man who's lost the respect of his own children? The body language told it all. No reassuring smiles, no hushed words of encouragement, just a woman coming to grips in the presence of millions of viewers that the family she'd worked so hard to keep together might have been irreparably damaged long before this moment. But the drama wasn't over yet. In a shocking turn of events, Cody later directed his frustrations at Robyn's side of the family. Yes, the same person he's been closest to in recent seasons. As viewers know, Robyn's relationship with Cody has resembled more of a monogamous marriage than a plural one, and it's been a huge sore point for the rest of the family. And now even that partnership appeared to be under strain, as Cody's whole universe collapsing at the same time. Or is this a clever move to deflect blame and avoid responsibility once more? One thing's certain, viewers couldn't look away. With each episode, the cracks in the Brown family widen and long-standing allegiances are disintegrating. And if you thought that was intense, buckle up, because what comes next will change everything. So what do you guess? Is Janelle finished at last? Will the family be okay? Or is this really the end of Sister Wives as we've come to know it? The never-ending saga of the Brown family keeps building in season 19 of Sister Wives, with heated arguments, family treachery, and allegiance swinging back and forth, making for a dramatic show for viewers. The newest turn of events is a dramatic explosion of father-son drama, as Payton Brown confronts Cody in a fashion that has everyone left stunned. But the ice soap operatics don't end there. Janelle Brown, caught between her husband and his family, employs a tactic of her own that has viewers wondering if it's the start of a huge power struggle within the family. Dynamic, dramatic tension has been building for months. Since Cody Brown is the patriarch of the Brown family, he has increasingly found himself isolated not only from his former wives, but from his own kids as well. The breakdown of the family escalated to a boiling point when Cody's son Payton, whom he had with Christine, approached him about the strained relationship they had. This confrontation, which played out in a dramatic, on-camera scene, shocked fans who have seen Cody's relationships with his children disintegrate over the years. Wives viewers have seen the increasing arrangement between Cody and his children, especially his older kids, from his marriage to Christine Payton, who had already spoken out about his anger with his father's abuse of his mother, and the family's polygamous lifestyle finally snapped. In last week's episode, Payton went straight at Cody and the outcome was explosive. Sitting face to face with his father, Payton aired his grievances in a raw emotional confrontation that left Cody visibly shaken. The father-son exchange was loaded with frustration, hurt, and years of resentment. Payton was not afraid to speak his mind, expressing to Cody how he felt regarding his father's actions, particularly how Cody's responses had affected Christine and the rest of the family. This was the moment that everyone had been waiting for, since Payton did not sugarcoat anything in dealing with what he perceived to be Cody's manipulation and indifference to the feelings of his children. As the argument escalated, it was evident that Cody was not accustomed to Payton's bluntness. Cody, who is accustomed to being in charge of the narrative within his family, found himself put on the defensive. His attempt at justifying himself and making excuses fell flat as Payton persisted in questioning him regarding the lack of emotional support and engagement in his children's lives. The moment was candid, and viewers couldn't help but sense the tension in the air as father and son stared across at each other, both of them sensing how much their relationship had fallen apart. Adding to the intensity of this confrontation was the presence of Janelle Brown. As Cody's second wife, Janelle has frequently been the more reasonable and level-headed member of the family she has seen. The brokenness between Cody and his kids, especially Cody's strained interactions with Christine's children, and has voiced some of her frustrations with Cody himself as a father. Janelle had consistently been in support of him, though until now. Behind the clash, Janelle watched on, observing the father-son interaction with incredulity as well as unhappiness. It was evident that this moment was a breaking point for her too. Janelle, who had tolerated Cody's ways for so long and attempted to make their polygamous household function, was now witnessing the repercussions of his actions firsthand. As Payton's words struck a chord, Janelle appeared to comprehend that things might be irreparable, not only for Cody and his children, but also for her place in the family. The reaction of Janelle towards the confrontation was revealing. Fans observed her standing in stunned silence, almost as if realizing that she had been living within a broken home for much longer than she had acknowledged. Her shock was not merely about the fight between Payton and Cody. It was the increasing awareness that Cody had lost the respect and trust of his own children, and that maybe the polygamous lifestyle that she had previously accepted was no longer viable. Janelle watched the exchange. She started to disengage from the drama that surrounded her. Although she didn't directly challenge Cody at that moment, her body language told 1,000 words. She was no longer the devoted wife who stood up for Cody's behavior. Rather, she was a woman torn between a father who'd failed to hold on to relationships with his children and the fact that her own marriage to Cody was beginning to fray. Although the fight between Cody and Payton was the focal point of the episode, another highlight came.
You never tried to have a really good relationship with these other people. And that's the reason I'm pissed off.
When Cody turned against Robyn's family, Robyn has become Cody's next closest ally over the course of several seasons, and their monogamous-type relationship has been the centerpiece of the Brown family struggles. But in this most recent installment, Cody's anger at his own kids and the tension building within the family came to a head, and he took out his anger on Robyn's family. Cody, who has long been the patriarch trying to keep his family together, was seen lashing out at Robyn's family in a manner that left viewers speechless. It was one of raw shock when Cody, beset with the weight of his broken connections, lashed out at Robyn's family as the cause for his problems he was having inside the Brown clan. Though the reason behind Cody's outburst was not entirely clarified, it appeared to have been a combination of exasperation at the increasing arrangement between him and his other wives and children, and bitterness towards Robyn's family for not being wholly supportive of him in his attempts at keeping the family together. What made this experience even more poignant was that Cody's bond with Robyn had been regarded as his most stable and core relationship in the family. Robyn had been the constant presence in his life for years, one person he went to for emotional support and companionship. But in this episode, the frustration with the dissolution of his other relationships caused Cody to make a bold and perhaps desperate action. He turned on Robyn's family, accusing them of being responsible for the dysfunction of the family unit. The actual bombshell of the episode occurred when Janelle Brown, once caught in the middle of the family's drama, employed her own tactic in order to acquire leverage in her relationship with Cody, referring back to the experiences she gained while the family lived in Las Vegas. Janelle demonstrated a side of herself that the audience had not yet witnessed, a new chapter in which he refused to remain quiet regarding the pain and dysfunction that had taken up residence in their home for decades. Viewers witnessed Payton's candid truthfulness, laying bare long-avoided problems that had simmered unobtrusively behind closed doors and could no longer be denied. His courage appealed to fans who have watched the Browns' convoluted path, and numerous people commended Payton for having the guts to speak out when so many others did not. As for Cody, the confrontation destroyed the control he had so meticulously maintained over the family. Story. No longer able to sweep issues under the carpet or hide behind his preferred relationship with Robyn, he was compelled to face the effects of years of emotional neglect and favoritism. His defensive reactions and futile efforts to deflect blame only served to further expose the cracks in the family, leaving him more alone than ever. Robyn, long depicted as Cody's friend, and the constant in his increasingly tumultuous life, found herself surprisingly caught in the crossfire Cody's attack on her family left her reeling, and for perhaps the first time, she viewed the shaky ground on which their relationship was constructed. The incident raised questions about whether Robyn's once unquestioned influence over Cody might be beginning to slip, and fans eagerly speculated on what this could mean for the future of their relationship. Janelle's calculated moves behind the scenes added yet another layer of intrigue to the unfolding drama by reconnecting with the other wives and empathizing with the children's complaints. She subtly placed herself as a key player in whatever new family formation could be created out of the ruins. Her insistence on restarting her Vegas strategy, emphasizing independence and emotional space from Cody while quietly building alliances, represented a dramatic turn in the power balance. It was apparent to the audience that Janelle no longer wanted to just get by in the Brown home. She was committed to controlling her own destiny. The show ended with a feeling of uncomfortable limbo. The family was fragmented in ways it had never been before, and Cody alone was at the eye of a storm of his own creation. Long-standing coalitions were cracking, grievances previously spoken of in hushed tones were now out in the open, and the very foundations of the Brown family's polygamous arrangement were on the brink of imploding. Audiences were left waiting to see what would be next. Would Cody try to put the broken relationships back together again? Or would the remaining wives and children at last walk away for good? Would Robyn continue to support Cody despite his outbursts? Or would she too begin to question the viability of their union? And would Janelle's daring move pay off and reconfigure the family for viewers? The whole ordeal became just another reason to be glued to the unfolding sister-wives drama. It's moments like these, surprise, petty, and intensely personal, that keep the fans hooked into the Browns' increasingly dysfunctional universe, with Payton unapologetically holding firm on his joke, Robyn probably seething over the insinuation, and Cody frantically trying to keep some semblance of control. The tension within the family only keeps building. More story than Payton allowed on remarks poured in, with fans arguing that regardless of what he said, the timing, tone, and history of the quote were too calculated to be completely innocent. It was an old-fashioned family spat unfolding in the new age venue social media, where every sentence is magnified and every joke picked apart for ulterior motives. Fans who are following the sister-wife's drama couldn't help but notice the pent-up tension between Payton and Robyn. From barely perceptible eye rolls at family gatherings to aggressive comments and interviews, their poor relationship has quietly been simmering in the shadows for years. For some viewers, this clip was just one more page from a book already full of passive-aggressive commentaries and leftover resentments. Payton's effort to defuse the situation with his second video did little to quell the flames. Indeed, it helped feed them even further, with viewers analyzing his body language, tone, and words. Was he really making a lighthearted joke, or was this how he chose to finally get a public jab in against the woman most fans hold responsible for much of the family's conflict? The argument continued. At the same time, Cody was said to have viewed the incident as a betrayal, just another reminder of his children turning on him and his family, for a man fighting to keep his control and story intact. Payton's moment of going viral was a slap in the face. Insiders with the family said Cody felt humiliated and took it as a sign that his relationship with his Older kids might be irreparably broken. Robyn, however, kept quiet in public. Although sources said she was embarrassed and angry, famous for wanting to maintain a clean image and not being involved in public controversy, the suggestion that she was the subject of Payton's joke was humiliating privately. She was said to be frustrated that Cody was not doing enough to stand up for her and rein in his son. In it all, Janelle and Christine remained distant from the drama. Both women who had long since come to terms with departing from the shenanigans of Cody's home were said to be not surprised by the scandal. Friends indicate they laughed at the drama and enjoyed that Payton was willing to just speak his mind even when it ruffled some feathers. While fans are waiting anxiously for the next episode of Sister Wives, it's obvious that the drama of the Brown family doesn't make the television cut. Each TikTok, Instagram story, and offhand comment can be a catalyst for a viral moment, and fans can't have enough. The question now on everyone's mind is easy. What comes next? Will Payton double down on the jokes, or will he hide in the shadows? Will Cody and Robyn speak out publicly, or will they try to lay the drama to rest in a tide of well-rehearsed family togetherness? And most of all, can this dysfunctional family ever really be at peace? Or are they going to keep airing their dirty laundry, one viral video at a time? One thing for sure, viewers will be tuning in to see every step tight, lipped about the issue, preferring to keep family squabbles in the privacy of their own home. Although his actions on the show have usually been louder than words, his blatant favoritism of Robyn the youngest and sole remaining wife in his polygamous marriage has caused huge divides within the family, with several of his older children feeling bypassed and ignored. It wasn't always like that. Once upon a time, the Brown family appeared to be a solid unit dealing with the challenges of polygamy together, with a combination of humor, fortitude, and unshakable loyalty. But as years went by, and Cody's focus increasingly shifted towards Robyn, and her children, cracks started to appear in the edifice. Those cracks, once secreted below the surface, have now burst into open view. That's why Payton's innocuous-sounding TikTok quip hit a nerve. It wasn't a throwaway line. It was a testament to years of pent-up pressure, unsaid resentments, and unresolved pain in the family. Fans immediately knew the undertone of Payton's comment because they've been observing this gradual disintegration for more than a decade. The consequences of Christine's leaving, followed by Mary, and Janelle's own re-examinations of their marriages, left Cody more and more alone, holding on tightly to Robyn as his only friend.
You wanted to renegotiate a relationship with me, but you wouldn't even have a decent one with them. Always about the kids, that was the easy part.
And whereas Robyn's arrival initially introduced a new dynamic to the family, it ultimately represented the favoritism and inequality that would split the family's cohesion. For Payton, seeing his mother endure years of emotional neglect and favoritism wore him down. His relationship with Cody soured, along with Christine's, and his increasing disillusionment with his father's behavior became evident both on and off camera. By the time he uploaded his Mother's Day video, the subtext of resentment was already well in place. The fans were aware, the family was aware, and even deep down, Payton was aware of the power a few well-chosen words could wield. But instead of backing down, Payton employed humor, a tool used by anyone who's ever dealt with family dysfunction, to express his frustration in a way that was coded but clear to those listening. It was a moment that summed up the Brown family's decades-long struggles in one viral post. And now, with Sister Wives embarking on one of its most chaotic episodes to date, the ramifications of this current controversy continue to cascade through the family. Cody, estranged from a majority of his older children, must come to terms with the aftermath of years of special treatment and abandonment. Robyn, who was once his loyal confidant, now finds herself unwittingly at the center of controversy once more. And Payton, he's moving out of the shadow of his family's drama, reasserting his voice in a manner that fans praise and rebuke, but surely can't resist. And as for the rest of the Brown clan, the future is uncertain. The only sure thing is that the drama isn't going to slow down anytime in the near future. And for the audience, it's impossible not to keep looking that his favoritism and emotional distance had caused bitter wounds within their family. She added that although polygamy was always intended to be about unity and shared responsibility, Cody's actions had fractured that ideal irreparably. I don't even know this family anymore. Janelle admitted in an honest confessional moment, "We were all supposed to be a team, raising our children together, supporting each other. But along the way, it turned into keeping one person happy while the rest of us were left to clean up the pieces." Janelle's words were a reflection of what many of the older Brown children have said on and off the show. Anger at broken promises, lost time, and a father who, in their opinion, prioritized one wife over his obligations to the rest of the family. Disillusionment was not only reflected in her interactions with the other wives, but also in her physical and emotional withdrawal from Cody. What gave Janelle's position such power was her background of being the consistent practical force in the family, unlike Christine, who wore her heart on her sleeve, or Mary, who frequently battled feelings of loneliness. Janelle had always been the practical one, taking care of finances, raising her children on her own, and maintaining the family together when feelings got out of control. Now, though, even Janelle had hit her limit. Together, the force of Payton's public rebukes, Cody's intransigent assertions, and Janelle's honest appraisals created a portrait of a family in disarray. A polygamous test run once, heralded as loving and strong, was now disintegrating on the national stage episode by episode as Sister Wives steams into its second season. Viewers are left to wonder if reconciliation is a possibility. Will Cody be able to make amends with his elder children while not willing to relinquish the relationship that caused the rift? Will Janelle be able to forge a future outside of the turmoil? And will Payton, as he regains his voice, continue to disrupt the story of a family once deemed indivisible? His relationship with his dad and with Robyn is still complicated. The Mother's Day video was probably a harmless joke in Payton's mind, but in a family already filled with unresolved tension, even innocuous comments have the potential to open old wounds. Janelle's comments about Cody's no-show at Savannah's graduation party made that point. The implication that a father wouldn't show up to such a milestone occasion for his daughter, not due to logistics but simply because he wasn't welcome, told a lot about how broken those relationships are. Her revelation that Cody was alienated from 90 to 95% of his children wasn't an offhand remark. It was a sobering affirmation of what viewers have long suspected behind the scenes. And though Payton's update brought the conversation back around, it's more just a symptom of a far greater problem. The Brown family's polygamous roots have begun to unravel. From years of favoritism, broken vows, and emotional abandonment, Cody's unyielding devotion to Robyn, to the detriment of his relationships with his other wives and children, has left permanent scars that nobody seems willing or maybe capable to mend completely. Where do the Browns go from here? The future is cloudy. Viewers are preparing for more explosive moments as the fallout persists, with Payton, Janelle, and the other Brown kids speaking their truths more and more, while Cody holds on to what's left of his original vision. Whether or not there can be any genuine reconciliation remains to be seen. What's certain, however, is that Sister Wives has matured from a reality series depicting a plural family attempting to live together in harmony into a searing, unvarnished snapshot of what occurs when that harmony shatters, and audiences, for better or worse, can't help but turn away. The rift in the Brown household has come to such a head that even offhand comments such as Payton's TikTok have been freighted with years of pain, bias, and unresolved tension. Though Payton couched it as a joke, it came across as a window into greater emotional hurt to those who know the family well and TOO fans. Fundamentally, this drama isn't about one video, it's about a family pulled taut by the complex dynamics of polygamy, favoritism that fermented, resentment, and bonds allowed to fester for far too long. Cody's single-minded devotion to Robyn above all else has caused irreparable harm. Something even he appears to admit in those flashes of weakness, albeit one he hasn't so far acted on Payton's relationship with Cody and Robyn, as with many of Cody's relationships with his older children, is still broken. The Mother's Day video was such a focal point because it wasn't an isolated incident. It was the culmination of a series of indications that the Brown family, unified once by their polygamous existence, is now deeply fractured. Whether or not reconciliation is possible remains anyone's guess. The feelings are intense, and even though Sister Wives fans have witnessed families recover from hard times in the past, this one feels different. Raw, more public, and more entrenched. What is certain is that the drama isn't finished, not by a long way. The repercussions of Payton's post are merely the next installment in a saga of love deceit and loyalty that continues to captivate audiences. And once again, the fans will be watching hungry to find out what comes next in the continually unfolding saga of the Browns.